Friends, welcome to the Expert Legal Advice. Today I am going to apprise you all about the foreign direct investment in India. India is a prime destination of business nowadays. It is a preferred destination of business because of the various reasons. For setting up any business, primarily two things are required, that is business idea and funds. People who are doing business globally certainly have enough funds and business idea. And what other factors which play a vital role in establishing and running a business are as under: number one, law of the land. With the motive of ease of doing business and making India movement, the government of India has made various reforms, including setting up or incorporation of companies, LLPs, obtaining necessary registrations, licenses, tax numbers, labor law codes, everything have been made online, and even event based and annual compliances, everything have been made online. So this is very encouraging point for foreign investors to enter into Indian market, because this is the very less time consuming to start a business. And taxation, tax reforms including GST becomes a very encouraging point for a compliant business. Infrastructure have been improved very much, and it is improving day by day. Manpower, India is a place of world's highest youth population. New age technology, education, knowledge and talent of Indian people is not unknown to anyone. India is a place from where the requirement of local manpower, such as highly skilled, semi-skilled or skilled or unskilled category of employee, can be easily searched and recruited. Market and customer base, for any business to be a successful business, a large market and customer base is very much required. India is the second largest country in the world in terms of population. So India is a very big market and has a very large customer base for running any business, or I can say for a business to be successful. These are primarily things which India have. Professional services, India is full of best professionals such as lawyers, chartered accountants, company secretaries, cost accountants and IT professionals who will help in setting up and expanding and running the compliant business in India. So all these things are encouraging foreign investors for making foreign investment in India. A non-resident entity or a person can enter into India for undertaking and is expanding its business in the sectors activities where the foreign direct investment is permitted. Depending upon its business need, a non-resident entity or person can choose the appropriate business structure for setting up its business in India, which wholly owned subsidiary, joint venture company, branch office, liaison office, representative office, project office, etc. The government of India on a yearly basis formulates consolidated FDI policy with the intent and objective to promote FDI through a policy framework which is transparent, predictable and simple and reduces regulatory burden. What is FDI? For FDI or foreign investment means investment through capital instrument by a person resident outside India in an unlisted Indian company, or in 10% or more of the post-issue paid-up equity capital on a fully diluted basis of a listed company. So what is foreign investment means? Foreign investment means any investment made by a person resident outside India on repatriable basis in capital instrument of an Indian company or to the capital of LLP. Capital instrument means equity shares, fully compulsory and mandatorily convertible preference shares, fully compulsory and mandatorily convertible debentures and warrants. Who are the eligible investors? A person resident outside India or a non-resident entity can invest in India subject to the FDI policy except in those sectors and activities which are prohibited. So, however, an entity of a country which shares borders land borders with the India, or where the beneficial owner of an investment into India is situated or a citizen of any such country which shares land border with the India, can invest only under the government approval route. Further, a citizen of Pakistan or an entity incorporated in Pakistan can invest only under the government route in sectors activities other than defense, space, atomic energy, and sectors activities prohibited for foreign investment. Entities in which foreign direct investment can be made. For FDI can be made in the companies incorporated in India. FDI can be made in the LLP incorporated in India. However, the FDI I can say foreign investment is permitted under automatic route in LLPs operating in sectors activities where 100% FDI allowed under automatic route. And there are no FDI linked performance conditions, which means foreign investment is not allowed in LLP in sectors where there is sectoral cap or where government approval is required. Trusts. Investment by a person resident outside India is not permitted in trust other than in venture capital funds registered and regulated by SEBI and investment vehicle. Partnership firm, proprietary concern. A non-resident Indian can invest in the capital of a firm or a proprietary concern in India on non-repatriation basis, provided the firm is not engaged in any agricultural or plantation or real estate business or print media sector. Non-repatriation means the foreign investment cannot be sent back to the foreign investor. NRI may seek prior permission of RBI for investment in sole proprietorship or proprietary concern firm with the repatriation option. However, the application will be decided in the consultation with the Government of India. Entry routes for foreign investment. Investment can be made by non-resident in the equity shares, fully compulsory, mandatory convertible debentures, fully compulsory and mandatory convertible debentures of an Indian company through the automatic route or the government approval route. Under the automatic route, the non-resident investor or the Indian company doesn't require any approval from the RBI or Government of India for the investment. Under the government route, prior approval of the Government of India is required. Proposal for foreign investment under the government route are considered by the respective administrative ministry and department. For obtaining government approval for making FDI in India, an online application along with the requisite documents shall be submitted to the Foreign Investment Facilitation Portal, that is www.fifp.gov.in, to which the administrative department of the concerned ministry will examine and grant the approval if satisfied with the specified conditions. Permitted sectors for FDI. As per the FDI policy, the FDI is permitted under automatic route in most of the sectors except very few sectors which are prohibited, and in few sectors up to sectoral cap. Prohibited sectors are FDI is prohibited in lottery business including government and private lottery, online lottery, etc., gambling and betting including casino, etc., chit funds, nidhi company, trading in transferable development rights, real estate business or construction of farmhouses. Real estate business shall not include development of township, construction of residential or commercial complexes, maintaining and construction of roads, bridges, and real estate investment trust registered and regulated under SEBI Regulation 2014. Manufacture of cigar, cigarette or tobacco substitutes, activities, sectors not open to private sectors for investment, that is atomic energy and railway operations other than permitted activities as mentioned in the FDI policy. Uh, there are pricing guidelines for issue and allotment of shares and transfer of shares to foreign investors or vice versa. For issue of shares, in case of listed company, the price of shares issued to person resident outside India under the FDI policy shall not be less than the price worked out as per the SEBI guidelines. And in case of unlisted company, the price of the shares shall not be less than the price worked out by the SEBI registered merchant banker or a chartered accountant on any internationally accepted methodology on arm's length basis. So price should not be less than the price as worked out in valuation. And in case of convertible capital instrument, the price conversion formula of the instrument is required to be determined upfront at the time of issue of the instrument. The price at the time of conversion should not be in any case lower than the fair value worked out at the time of issuance of such instrument in accordance with the extant FEMA provisions. So for issue of any convertible instrument such as preference shares, debentures, so the price and conversion formula should be decided at the time of issuance of shares, and price at the time of conversion should not be less than the fair market value as done by the SEBI registered merchant banker or the chartered accountant at the time of issuance of such capital instruments या convertible instruments. Transfer price for share of shares, transfer of shares by a person resident in India to person resident outside India. The price of the capital instrument of an Indian company transferred by a person resident in India to person resident outside India shall not be less than the price worked out in accordance with the SEBI guidelines in case of listed company, and price should not be less than the price worked out as per the valuation done by the SEBI registered merchant banker or the chartered accountant on any internationally accepted pricing methodology on arm's length basis. Capital instrument transferred by a person outside India to person resident in India. So in that case, the price of the capital instrument should not be more than the price worked out in accordance with the SEBI guidelines in case of listed company, and price should not be more than the price as worked out by the SEBI registered merchant banker or the chartered accountant on any internationally accepted pricing methodology on arm's length basis in case of unlisted company. There is a reporting requirement to Reserve Bank of India for issue of equity instruments. Indian company is required to issue and allot the equity instruments against the funds received from the person outside India within a period of 60 days from the date of receipt of funds. Indian company is required to file Form FCGPR in single master form at the RBI's funds portal within a period of 30 days from the date of allotment of equity instruments along with the requisite documents. For transfer of equity instruments, Indian company is required to file Form FCTRS in single master form at RBI's firm portal within a period of 60 days from the date of transfer of equity instruments or receipt of funds, whichever is earlier, along with the requisite documents. A reporting requirement for LLP. LLP receiving amount of consideration for capital contribution and acquisition of profit shares is required to submit a report in Form FDI LLP 1 within a period of 30 days from the receipt of amount of consideration for capital contribution. LLP is required to report to RBI in Form FDI LLP 2 in case of receipt of funds for disinvestment and transfer of capital contribution or profit shares between a resident and a non-resident within a period of 60 days. So in case of transfer or disinvestment, LLP is required to report within a period of 60 days from the receipt of amount towards such transfer of capital contribution. within a period of 60 days. And there is a requirement of annual return filing for foreign liability and assets, that is called FLA. Indian company which has received FDI or an LLP which has received investment by way of capital contribution in the previous years, including the current year, shall submit Form FLA to the Reserve Bank on or before 15th July every year. So here the year means April to March. So whether it is a company or LLP, if it has received foreign investment in the previous year and the current year, including the period April to March, has to report and submit FLA return to the RBI on or before 15th July every year. So I have tried to cover most of the things as necessary for the foreign direct investment to be considered for any investors. However, if anyone feel or anyone need any kind of assistance or advice, you can contact me at any time. I am ready to help you out. Thank you so much. Bye bye.